Hello, here is a Pilates workout for you for core, glutes and hips. In this workout we're going to be going through some hip mobility, some glute stability and strengthening, and core and abdominal strengthening as well. So really good if you're feeling quite stiff in the hips, because it's a nice one to target this sort of center area. So we're going to start on the mat. No props needed today. Maybe grab a little head cushion if you like to use a small head cushion for your head. But otherwise, we're going to start on the mat, lying on our backs, with our feet flat on the ground and a comfortable distance away from the body, hip width. Just going to start with the arms alongside the body. Feel the shoulders nice and relaxed, the chest nice and relaxed, into the ground. Take a moment to take a few deep breaths. Inhaling in through the nose, feeling the lungs expand, feeling the air fill the sides of the lungs. And exhaling to soften down the rib cage, soften down the shoulders. As we go through the practice today, we're going to try and keep this breathing going, because this breathing provides support for our spine, connects us with our Pilates practice, and also provides some calm in some exercises where we might be finding them particularly challenging. So lying on the mat, we're just going to start waking up the pelvis a little bit. On your next inhale, I want you to roll your pelvis towards you, imprinting the mat. And exhale, I want you to send it away, increasing the arch on your lower back. Inhaling in one direction, keeping that lovely thoracic breathing, that rib cage wide lateral breathing, and exhaling to send away. So just keep alternating between tucking and tilting, and feel the shoulders relax. Try not to bring any tension to the upper body. Trying to keep the breathing going throughout the session, but of course if you lose it, don't worry, we can always get back into it. Tucking and tilting one more time each way. When you're done, we're just going to settle somewhere in the center and begin waking up those hips a little. So once you've found your neutral, I want you to fold the right knee in towards the chest in the single knee fold. We're going to start with some knee circles. So I want you to, keeping your neutral, bring that knee in towards you as far as you can. Then take it across the body, away from you, out to the side, and back in. Keeping the thigh nice and heavy, and inhaling for half your circle, and exhaling for half your circle. With these knee circles, we're really focusing on the thigh moving in the socket. And you might find some sticky areas, but just try to make your circles as smooth as possible. Keep following the breath, inhaling for half and exhaling for half. Just using enough core, enough centering to keep your pelvis nice and steady. Pausing after you finish the one you're on, and let's take it in the other direction. So we're going in towards the body, out towards the side. Send the thigh away from you and then bring it back. As we go, we have a tendency to rock the hip from side to side. So I want you to keep that left knee nice and steady. It's a nice little indication as to whether we're moving the hips. Go for one more like this. Out to the side, forwards, and return back to your start position. I'm just going to single knee fold, bring that leg back down. Going on to the other side, single knee fold the left knee. Find that neutral. Inhaling to take it towards the body and across and away. Exhaling for your second half of your circle. Noticing any differences between the legs. Maybe one knee's a bit stiffer, one knee's a bit easier to move and stir. Feeling the core react as the knee goes away from you, just to keep the hips nice and stable. We're just warming up those hips. Finishing off the circle you're on, taking it nice and slow. And then we're going to reverse the circles. Keep going like this, keep the shoulders relaxed, keep the rib cage heavy, and try to keep that lovely breathing going. Just going to do 2 more in this direction, stirring that knee round, waking up the hip. Last one here. Finishing off nice and gently, bringing that knee back to the start and bringing those toes down and heels down. Double check the feet are hip distance again, that's that inner hip distance. I'm going to go into some spine curls. So spine curls, really nice way to open up the hips, and obviously you're strengthening the glutes and your hamstrings as well. Starting with the tilt of the pelvis towards us. I'm going to continue that tilt. I'm going to roll the pelvis up 1 bone at a time, just to the tips of the shoulder blades, opening up the front of the hips. From here, we're just going to maintain the position for a moment, for the strength through the backs of the legs. And then you're going to melt the spine back down 1 bone at a time to the bottom. Inhaling to prepare at the bottom. Exhale to roll the pelvis towards you, melting the rib cage down as you peel the spine up. Gentle squeeze of the glutes at the top to keep you nice and secure. Pausing here, and then melting everything back down 1 bone at a time, nice and slow, all the way down to the mat. I'm going to do 1 more like this. I'm going to add on some arms and a little curl up. So let's tuck the tailbone under like we did before. Feel even weight through the feet. Trying just to open up the front of the hips, and a nice little gentle squeeze of the glutes. Pausing here for a moment, and let's wheel the spine back down 1 bone at a time. This time we're going to float the arms up overhead once we're up into our bridge. Exhaling again, let's wheel everything up, up, up. Let's inhale to bring the arms up overhead. Let's keep the arms where they are as we wheel the spine back down. And we're going to add on here, so as the bum hits the ground, we're going to bring the arms forwards. We're going to nod the chin and come up into like a little curl up. From here, we're just going to let the arms reach back to the mat and wheel the spine back down. So it's a little flow. Exhale to peel up. Inhale, let's reach the arms overhead into our ribcage closure. Keep the gentle squeeze of the glutes as you peel the spine down. And then we nod the chin to wheel ourselves up into our curl up, looking between the thighs. Pausing for a moment to wheel ourselves back down again. We'll do this 3 more times, wheeling the pelvis all the way up. Reach the arms overhead. Peel the spine down. As you're wheeling the spine down, start beginning to nod the chin, bring the arms up, looking in between the thighs. Then maintain for a moment, feeling nice and heavy in the sacrum, and then wheel the spine back down. 2 more like that, nice and slow, wheeling up. Gentle squeeze of the glutes. Inhale to bring the arms overhead. Exhale to wheel the spine back down. Just 1 breath per movement here. And wheeling down. Last one. Wheeling the spine up. This should feel quite nice, opening up the back line of the body. Keep the ribs nice and soft as you melt everything back down. And then the arms come back down. We're going to come into a double knee fold of the legs. And we're going to just we'll have the knees together, feet together. From here, find your neutral. And we're just going to open both knees out to the side. So you're in like a little frog press. And then just close the knees again. So you're externally rotating those hips and then internally rotating. Let's do 6 more. Inhale to open. Feet stay together. Exhale to close. 5. And closed. 4. Closed. I'm keeping my feet together. It's sort of like your oyster, but we're on our backs. 2. Work on rotation of the hip. Last one. Open. Close. This time, we're going to open and keep open. Interlace the hands behind the head. We're going to do a little curl up, and as we curl up, we're going to straighten, we're going to hold our curl up and then straighten the legs. So getting the abs and some hip extension. So let's inhale at the bottom, exhale to nod the chin, Inhale, let's straighten the legs. Legs stay together. Feet stay together, legs together. Bring them back. Pause. And come back down again. So exhaling up. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, bring it back. Inhale to lower down. Exhaling up. Just one breath per movement. Let's do 4 more. Head is heavy in the hands and you'll curl up. Keeping your neutral. Straightening those legs out. We're not rushing. We're working through holding up that stability of our spine. But send the thighs forward so you really open up the front of the hips here. And down. On the next one, as we straighten the legs out, I want you to gently squeeze the glutes as well. So they're nice and engaged. And then relaxing back as they come back. Last 2. Squeeze and reach. Bringing them back. And down. We got 1 more. Up. Reach. Squeeze the glutes. Squeeze the thighs. Bring them back. And then come down. Just going to fold the knees into the chest for a second. Give them a little tug. Little relaxation for those hip flexors. We're now going to go into some bridge work. Bring the feet both down to the ground. We're going to do some bridge with a bit of a hip opening. I really like this version of a bridge. Fold the right knee in towards the chest and just bring it across the body. So you're doing like a little figure 4 stretch. Before we begin to bridge, I want you to think of pushing that right knee out and keeping the hips nice and open. So we want to keep that opening through the hips. We're just going to inhale, exhale to come up, inhale to come down. So soften the ribs. This time we're just going to go straight up in one line. And then come back down. Really think of pushing that right knee down, keeping the shin going forward. Good. 3. Little squeeze of that left glute. 4. To keep you nice and open. 5. We're doing 8, by the way. 6. 7. And last one here, we're going to hold at the top for a moment and take 2 long inhales and exhales. Feeling the heaviness through the right knee, ribs nice and soft, hips nice and level. 1 more. And then we're going to peel the spine back down to the mat. We're going to unravel. We're going to stay with the left leg as our working leg here. This time we're going to come up into a bridge and we're going to simultaneously single knee fold the right knee. So you come up into a sort of knee fold march. So let's inhale at the bottom. Exhale to send the hips up and drive that right knee in. And inhale to bring everything back down. We're going to do 8 again. And down. You can stay on that right tiptoe if you like. 6. And down. 5. 4. Check those hips aren't hiking. 3. Check they're nice and level. 2. And last one, let's hold high. Just going to straighten thigh in line with thigh and bring it back. 4, 7. Inhale, reach. 6. Exhale, back. 5. 4. Open those hips. 3. 2. 1. Fold that knee in. Toe down, heel down. Wheel the spine all the way down. We can do exactly the same thing on the other side. Fold that left knee in. Bring it across the body. Feel the heaviness through the hip first. Take a moment. And we've got 8 here. So let's inhale to prepare. Exhale up. Send that thigh forward. Inhale down. And again. 6. Nice and even through the hips. 5, 4, keep the rib cage soft. 3, right glute is engaged. 2, last one. Holding for a moment for a little breath. Left knee nice and heavy. And coming down through the spine. We're going to unravel, we're going to do those marches. 8 marches, then 8 of those extensions. Inhale. Exhale, let's come up, single knee fold. Inhale, lower and tap. Exhale, lift. And again. Stay with it. Feeling the difference between the sides. One of my sides are much stable than the other. Totally normal. 3 more. 2. And 1. I'm going to hold this one high. Straighten the leg out. Reach the thigh forward for 8. 7. 6. 5. Let that right hip drop. 3. 2. 1. Fold the knee in. Toe down. Heel down. Let's wheel the spine down. Very nice. You can rock the knees from side to side for a sec. Give the hips, oh, my lower back just a little click. A little rotation. And then we're actually going to come all the way across to our side. We're going to do a little oblique work now. It's a little bit of a hip dip, which is obviously going to work into the core. And then we'll do some internal rotation of that knee. So, my elbow is underneath my shoulder, not sinking down. My knees are in line with my body because we're going to come up into like a little modified side plank. From here, I want to lift the hips off the ground, re-establish any alignment that you might need. Arm can be up or down. I'm going to keep my arm down today. We're going to bring that hip to the floor without losing the lovely strength we've got in our side and lift it up again. We're going to go for 7 more. 6, 5, 4. You can have the arm up if you like. 3, 2. Bottom glute is working. 1. Let's hold this one. Okay, I'm going to lift the knee about hip height. I'm going to bring internal rotation and external rotation. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And hip can come down. It's going to swing around to the other side. You can just turn around, but obviously I want to continue facing you guys. So we're going to do those 8 dips, then 8 holding that plank. Feel free to come down in your plank as well. That's also no problem if staying up is too much. Okay, so shoulders pushing away from the floor, ribs away from the floor. I'm going to have the arm up actually. Let's do that. So I'm going to lift and then dip the hip down and up. 8, 7. So feel the stretch in the hip as you go down, and then you lengthen it away as you go up. 4, 3, 2, and 1. We hold. Hip height. We're going to internally rotate, so think knee to knee, and then toes to toes. Knee to T, toes to toes. 6, 5, 4. Keep a lift in the core. 3, 2, and last one. Closing off. Lower down. Tap, 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 bottom glute, nice and engaged. We're just gonna roll over to our front now. So we're gonna come into the push back and just come into your all fours. We'll do some slow climbers. So your climber is essentially your single knee fold, mobilizing that hip, but extra bonus, you get to work that core because we're gonna be in a plank position. So establish that lovely connection for your 4-point kneeling. Slide the right leg out, tuck the toe. Slide the left leg out, tuck the toe. From here, keeping the spine nice and still, you're going to fold the right knee in towards your chest and take it back. We're going to alternate. Inhale and exhale. 8. Slow. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. Keep pushing the floor away. Ribs knitted in. 2. And last one. We're going to slide the left knee in. Keep that lovely keep that lovely connection. I was going to say a lovely establishment. Hands, leg reaching out. We're going to lift that, keep the foot flexed, lift the right foot up. Then we'll point the toe. We're going to take it round to the left, stretching that hip. So you should feel a nice stretch in the right hand side, maybe even in the left hip. I'm going to lift it up again so it's hovering. I'm going to take it round to the side, all the way around as far as you can, keeping the hips nice and level. And I'm going to tap it down there. We're going to do this 5 more times. So use your core to lift the thigh up, allow the foot to spin round, and tap down, and up. 4. So you're really keeping your core nice and steady. 3. So I'm doing like little swivels round. 2. Try not to lean too much on that left knee as you come round to the right. Try and keep even weight. 1. Tap. Round. And then we're going to place the foot down. My foot's nice and flat. I'm just going to rock back on the hips, stretching inner thighs and the hips, and come back up. 4 more. Reach and back. 3. 2. 1. Lovely. Coming back to the start. Re-engage the core. Lift the leg off. Bring it back down. Toe down. Slide back. Come off of the wrist for a second. Give them a little rotate. I'm going to turn this way just because I don't have any space to move my leg that way. But you can by all means keep the same direction. And then we're going to come back. I'm going to come back to all fours. So this time my left leg's going to go out and I'm going to tuck the toe. Engage that core. Let's lift off the foot, keeping your spine nice and steady. Take it round to the right for that lovely stretch in the outside of that left hip. Lift. Keep the lift through the body as you take it round to the side, tapping down. 5 more like this. Round. Notice any difference between the sides. 4. The aim is to try and get it pretty much sort of parallel to the body on the side, but don't worry, just take it as far as you can. My lovely plant, getting a little tickle, tickling my foot. Last one here. Up to the side, and then we'll place that foot down with the toes pointing forward if possible. Foot's just slightly in front of the knee. And we're going to take the hips back, keeping the neutral pelvis so we're not letting it tuck. And then coming back up. Let's do 4 more. Inhale to go back. Keep the lift in the core, not sinking down. Keep everything strong. 3. Opening up the hips. Opening up that those inner thighs. 2. Last one. Reaching back, coming back up through. Engage the core again, lift that leg off, bring it back, toe down, slide down. Going to bring the hands a bit further forward, knees a bit further back. I'm just going to come nice and slowly down into prone. We're going to do a couple of movements here in our prone for our glutes and for our core as well, and for the back line of our body. So I've got diamond press hands. I'm going to glue the hands to the back of the forehead. Legs are in our cobra position, so hip mat distance and turned out. From here, we're just going to do a few diamond presses, bringing the arms with us. Engage the core, and we're going to come up into our extensions, just as high as we can without getting into the lower back. Squeezing the upper back at the top for a moment, and then slowly lowering back down. We're going to do 4 more like this. Exhaling up, inhaling down. 3. 2. Keep the ribs lifted. And last one here. Lifting off and lowering down. Okay. I'm going to keep the head nice and relaxed. I'm going to bend the knees so the toes are touching. I'm going to do a little lift, and we're trying to lift the thighs off the floor and open up the front of the hips. We're going to use our glutes to squeeze and lift the lower body. We're trying not to arch through the back, so we need to dial up the core, keep the pelvis rooted. Let's bring those heels towards the bum. We're going to try and keep the heels in towards our bums. Okay, we'll do 10 lifts here. So let's inhale to prepare. Exhale to lift, think toes up to the ceiling, squeeze the glutes and lower. 9. Opening up the front of the hips. 8. 7. Might not be a lot, don't worry if it's not. 6. Just aim to try and lift up, squeezing those glutes. 5. 4. Keep the lower abdominals dialed in. 3. 2. Relax the shoulders. Mine were tensing up. Last one. Lift, hold for a few breaths. Inhaling. Exhale. Squeeze those glutes. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lower down nice and slowly. Straighten the legs out. We're just going to do cobra to finish, stretching out the abs. Stretching out the back a little bit more. Let's bring the hands in, head down. Dial the core up slightly. Inhaling at the bottom. Let's exhale to come up into your extension. And then use those hands to peel off all the way up to the top, opening up the hips. Pausing here. And then peeling back down one bone at a time. Hips return to the mat. Core returns to the mat. This is too much for your back, just stick with the diamond press that we did earlier, or just not come up as high. We're going to do 3, 4 more. Long exhale takes us up. Allow the shoulder blades to glide down the back. Peel your way up. Inhaling at the top, nice and strong. Exhale, lengthen, length as you peel all the way down again. And again. Lengthening those toes away from you. Last 2. Find your extension. Enjoy this extension. It should feel really nice on the body after all that work. And then your last one. Coming all the way up to the top. Taking your inhale. And then allow your hips to hit the mat. Relax through the glutes. Keep the ribs lifted, head down, legs together, hands by the rib cage. Push back into your child's pose and allow your lower spine to round. Relax the arms alongside the body. Take a moment here. Head can be on the mat. Really let your lower abdominals relax, your shoulders relax, hips nice and relaxed. Taking one last breath here, inhaling and exhaling. You can stay here for longer if you like, but otherwise we're going to come up, roll up through the spine, and we are done. That there was our lovely Pilates for our hips, our glutes and our core. I hope you enjoyed it.